Hello everyone, let's wait a little bit until I join us and then we'll start. Okay, let's start. Hello everyone. Today we're going to continue looking for the web development. Again, today we will mostly take a look on JavaScript, on features we can do using the JavaScript, in HTML, basically in web programming. And then we will go through, mostly through some examples there using JavaScript, and then we will shortly take a look on Bootstrap. Actually, there are lots of things we can look the Bootstrap, from the Bootstrap framework, but we'll just take a quick look on the concept itself, because Bootstrap is used in lots of different IT web projects, and that's why it can be really useful. And then that's most likely somewhere in the middle of the session. So I'll give you individual task. So I'll give you time for it. Let's say, I think that would be an hour, something like that. We'll see. And then I will give you the time. You can do it yourself, and then we will after you finish it, we will then just go through it together. So that's what will be done today, and most likely again we'll take web applications next time. Alright, so let's start. As you remember, last time we started talking about JavaScript. So basically, what is JavaScript? Actually, I don't have any presentation just to explain in details, but basically JavaScript itself is needed to handle some logic, to do some functions, to do some actions when the page is loaded. Because again, I will quickly open the HTMLs we used last time. So that would be the HTML, let's say this one. So at this point, maybe let's get the one we used. Moment, I will quickly find it. The one we used using CSS example was that was a moment. That was under the project folder. So that should be here. I will open it. So that was under the code examples, under the source CSS example. This is what we had. And so at this point, as you can see, the page is loaded, so nothing can be rendered from the beginning again. Everything is already loaded. So at this point, the page, if we want to do some actions here, so the page is not reloaded. So this is basically there are basically 2 points to understand. If you are here, if you do some actions here, so if you, let's say in this case, you navigate from one page to another, and that's why you can actually see that you go to different link and the page is actually reloaded. So it is rendered again from the beginning. So it means that somewhere in between, so it means you go to this page, you can actually send the post with some data there, and before this page is loaded, some actions may be done on the backend before this page is actually loaded, but after the previous page is closed. Or even more, if we just do something on this page, then the page can be page itself can be reloaded, and then some new content may be fetched from the server. It can also be from the database or somewhere like this. It depends, but it can be done. So at this point, to change something on your page, you actually you actually load the page again. And so like this, basically anything you do, but just your page is reloaded or just a new page is opened. And this is this point, but so what we need to do if we just want to do some actions without the page reloading? Because again, if the page is reloaded, mostly you will when we talk about web applications, we will have such situations when we actually access the server, when we generate the page from the beginning, it may take the time. Yeah. So as I just said, for example, if we are let's take any web page. Here you can see there are so many information. Of course, this information is stored on the database level, right? Or just in some files. It can also be possible. Or we can actually also read it from different sources. Let's say we can check how many information is there. Okay. And imagine that. So every time we load this page, actually the code where it is stored in the backend, it accesses the server. So it has the access to the server, to the database. So it goes to the database, it loads the information from the database, then it renders this page. You can see there's the video here, some lots of things there. Actually, all the information is loaded here. So of course it takes time to basically to get the information from the database and load it here, right? That's why so like if we want to, let's say, navigate through this, of course, as you can see, the page is not reloaded. If we just navigate between the bars, you can see that the page is not reloaded, and we also don't move to another page. And maybe some pop-ups like this. You can also see that the page is not reloaded, or if we just open something like this, still the page is not reloaded. And so that's the idea. Why do we need JavaScript? Because again, everything, all the actions, if we just type on something, or we scroll down something, not scroll down, but if we do some searches there, of course, to escape the situation when we actually need to reload the pages, then we need to define the logic. So that's the code, the functions, when we can actually provide the instructions, where we can actually change the content of the page without reloading it. That's why we need JavaScript. And as you can see here, if we just press on the button, of course, then the picture disappears. Another option would be if we just press, let's say, in theory that's possible. Of course, that's not the best practice, but if we press on the button, then the page is retriggered, then the actual new HTML is generated where this image is hidden, then we press again, then again the page is reloaded, then the code is generated where this image is not hidden. So that's why we need, but if we have JavaScript, then you will see that I will show you that at this point there are the objects, JavaScript objects or the arrays already loaded on the page, and actually when you do some actions, when you trigger JavaScript code, then all these objects are available, and I will see what are these objects. So first of all, let's maybe take a quick look on what we can done using JavaScript. Maybe I will create a new page. First of all, as I promised last time, I suggest you to use Visual Studio Code. So this program, that's for free. You just need to download it. I can share the link with you. Visual Studio Code, or also something like this. You can continue working on Eclipse. That can be fine as well. But as I said, Visual Studio Code maybe is a better choice when you work with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as well. That may be the better choice for you. But then again, it's up to you. I'm just recommending. And today I will mostly work on Visual Studio Code. So basically, what will we do? Again, I will in the same folder. I will create a new file here. Maybe let me think. Yeah. Okay, I'll start. Let's do it. So that would be JavaScript. Mention HTML GS example. So that will be HTML. Of course, you can. Okay. Maybe let's start with this, and then I will explain you several things. So how to use Visual Studio Code? There is a really nice option when you open Visual Studio Code. I recommend to go to File. Then you can actually open Workspace. I usually don't use the Workspace. I open the folder. And after that I go to the actual folder. So in this case that would be this folder, and the one I develop in. Then I go to source. Like in this case, I go to HTML examples, and then I select this folder. You'll have all these files here. One more option. One more, not option, but the feature I really like in Visual Studio is that is the search feature. I think under almost all, to be honest, I'm not sure, but from my experience, the search feature looks and works the best in Visual Studio Code comparing to other IDEs. So basically, how it works, you have the folder, right, and then you can. So let's say that I want to search for some text. Then I go to find. Again, I do not provide any file here. I just basically search in the whole folder. So then I just can search for the text, and it basically searches through all the files, through all the texts, and it will show you the file where the text is located in. And yeah, then you can navigate to this file. It may be really useful for web development, especially when you, not only for web development, basically for all the developments where you have thousands of files, and maybe also thousands of HTML files, and at some point you may not know in which file but the code you're looking for is located, and that's why this is a really nice feature I personally use, and it really helps me, especially when I have thousands of files and I just need to search for the right place. Alright, so let's then just start with GS example. For the header, I will use the same header I used before, so nothing will be different here. And then I go to body. And so basically at this point you just have the same HTML, nothing special here. So let's maybe define the header and header, but yeah, heading for the HTML. Then I actually can open it just to then see the result we have. So I will open it here. I have this heading. Then what can we actually do with JavaScript? Basically, we can control. So the first, from my experience, I mostly use is to control the elements we have. We have on the screen. So let's say that I have the element image. Let's have two images, or not images, but let's have two elements. So let's say I have the image, then so at this point that will look like this. That will look like this, and then let's say I can have input field. I have input field, and I will have the button. And I will have the button. And the button would be, so basically what will we do here? We will have, and we'll need ID here. We will have the input field, which will be the text field. So let's say that's the type text. We'll have the text. By the way, to format the code, you need to use Alt-Shift-F in Visual Studio Code, comparing to Eclipse where we use Ctrl-Shift-F. Here we can use Alt-Shift-F. So here we have the text, and here we have the button where we can actually say display image. So what will be the idea? The idea will be that here we type the name of the file. That will be just the path to the image, and then this image will be displayed here. So basically, how this will look like? We will create additional folder, because mostly we separate just simple files with the images. So then let's get some images. What will be the flowers? So I will just take some images of the flowers. Let's say. So that would be. I will go down to the workspace, then to the code examples, then to source. We have HTML examples, and now put to the files. So let's say that would be flowers 1. We'll just have, let's say, 3 or 4 files just for the testing purpose. Then let's say that we have, for the file format, I guess, we can use JPI as well, so that will be flowers 2. Then let's say we have flowers 3. And flowers 4. Do this one. Alright, so now we have 4 images just for testing. So idea will be that here I will just provide the file name. Let's say that will be flowers1.jpg, and when I display image, then the picture should appear here. So to do this, there is basically no other way but to write script code. And to write the script code, we have several options. Not several, but basically 2 options where we can write it. So basically, we need to put the handler on the point when our script to be triggered, and that's basically called event. Yeah, on the web development there is such thing like the events, even handlers, and basically what does it mean? These are the events which are basically the JavaScript functions. Yeah, in JavaScript almost all the actions on the front end are based on the functions. Yeah, so they're called this way, functions. We'll see how we can define them. And yeah, so once the event is triggered, so we just provide the information that hey, this is the event which just happened. Then the corresponding function is triggered. So basically, where we usually define the functions, one way is that under the button we define on click. So that would be on click, and then we can write the code here as an example. Not as an, but yeah, basically the only option is that we write code here. But how we usually do? We usually put the code at the end of the body. So that will be here. That will be here, yeah, before the end of the body. So here we need to be careful. Yeah, basically regarding the scripts, there is basically, it may be a little bit complicated that in some cases the scripts should be put on the top, but these are mostly related to some really generic scripts, which just not something like event handlers we do now. When we have the handlers, then it's the best practice is to put the script at the end. So basically, what does it mean? Script tag, the same as the style tag. As you remember, we previously used the style tags right here. We use the style tags. Just one to the code. We use the style tags, and the style tags actually allow us. They actually point us to the place where we have the CSS part. So under the style we put CSS. Under the script, as you may already understand, we put JavaScript code. So basically here we put anything what is related to JavaScript. And here we can create the function. So the function would be I can name it display. So the syntax is the following: that we have the function keyword, that's the keyword, then we have the function name. There is no access modifiers. Yeah, so as you can see, it doesn't work because in JavaScript in front end we don't have the encapsulation, we don't have the file hiding. There is the option of the inheritance of the superclasses, but it basically means that we just inherit everything from the superclass. But at this point, this may be not what you should know right now. The idea is that from JavaScript objects you can actually access everything, and there is no private protected objects there, elements there under the object. So here what do we have here? We have the function as the keyword, then we have the name of the function. I'll say display image. That will be better. Then what we have? We have the arguments. The same way as in Java. In JavaScript we can provide the arguments, of course, and the interesting thing here is I will wait to show you how we can provide the arguments. At this point, maybe let's let's go without the arguments, but later I will show you how can we do it. So basically at this point we are inside the function, so the code we write here will be triggered. And so here we actually have the power to do as many changes, to basically do everything with our current content. But to do it we need to have the IDs, because usually, not usually, but almost all the time we get the element using the ID. So first of all, how to access the element? Everything is stored under the document. I will later on show you the debugger, and then you will actually see what can we access there. So let's say we have, not let's say, but we have document. So basically document is what we have here. Basically all the elements we can access, all the inputs. Yeah, actually also need to provide the ID, because again, for all the elements you actually need to access, we want to access from the function, you can access them using the ID provided here. And how we can access, you have the document, that's the instance of the raw HTML we have here, and right here we use the method getElementById. So that's the method we can use, and here I provide the ID of the element I want to get, so that would be my image. And at this point you actually have all the power on this image element. You have this image element and you can actually change almost everything what is related. You can change the styles, you can change the attributes, but mostly, at least from my experience, I mostly work with the styles in such cases. But again, you have all the power, you can change the attributes, you can change, like I said, almost everything. And what does it mean? It means that, let's say at this point we want to enter the source of the file, so we actually access the source attribute, and then we can change the source, and the source to be read from the input. So then we can access the input. Input can be accessed the same way. We go to document, get element ID, and in this case I'll just point to the file path, and maybe just to not confuse you, let's do it this way. And basically that's it. That's it what we have. And right now, of course, under onClick we need to provide the function name. We need to provide the function name. Yes, yeah, thank you very much. I'll increase the screen resolution. Hope it's better for you. Yeah. Right now. And thank you for comment. Yeah. So hope it's better. Right. For the web, I will also scroll. Zoom in to show you the content. Because for me it's easier just to, but maybe I think that should be fine if I just scroll. I hope it should be visible. So yeah, then we have source get ID, and of course from onClick we need to provide the function which will be called when we click on the button. And so let's check what do we have. Okay, let's go zoom in, and let's say that I want to provide the file path, so that's the files, and so the path is files, and the flowers. Okay, something is missed, and let's say why it doesn't work. So at least the image is supposed to be here. Then actually to check what's the sorry, of course, we haven't finished here. Yeah, so we need to actually at this point, and basically what you can see from here yeah, what I just accidentally, I have not finished my code. Basically, if everything goes wrong, yeah, so at this point that may be a really good example. Something goes wrong. Something goes wrong, you can see that something is not displayed. The key helper for you is the set inspect element. So if I right click, go inspect, and as you can see in this case something is displayed, but this is not correct. So I go here and I can see that the source is the object. So at this point I see that the information provided in the code is not correct. So again, I go back to the code now, and I see that that here I just forgot to provide the content. So to provide the content, I need to actually say content here. Moment, I just what a bit was it? Lost it. Yeah, that should be content. One moment. That was text content. Oh, wait, one moment, I just quickly lost it. Moment. So I'll just quickly check this. To be honest, I forgot about the input fields. Because yeah, for some fields there may be. I think there should be content. Okay, maybe let's quickly check. If it doesn't work, then I will quickly take a look on. So let's. Oh, okay, yeah. I will quickly need to change. So a moment. Well, I think that can be input as well. No, sorry, value, of course. Yeah, yeah, not content but value. So at this point you actually have. So at this point, exactly at this point, we have the access to the element, to this element as to the object. Yeah. So this is considered as object, and we want to get the value from it. Yeah. The value, and let's check. Let's check now. So I refresh the page. Yeah, I need to refresh the page, otherwise you'll have the same code, and I can see that now the image is shown correctly. Yeah, just maybe one small correction. For the images, I want to, let's say I want to just make them smaller. And as you remember, to make them smaller, we need to use the styles. We can use the style. And let's say for all the images, I want to change just change their size. So let it be 40 em. And width to be also 40 em. So then let's check it again. So we go here. Okay, maybe too much. Let's maybe make it smaller. And we can also play around. We usually can play around here, change the values to finally get the one we are looking for. And I think that may be better. I mean, from the size, of course, we should make it wider, but at this point, just for the testing purpose, that should be okay. The same way, I can also ask the program to hide this element. So let's maybe create another button where we can actually hide this picture. And maybe before we do it, so at this point, maybe since we just want to access files folder directly, let's say that I want to create the logic in the way that I just provide the file without the folder name, file name without the folder name. So then what I need to do, I need to go to but I need to just stay here, and I need to do the concatenation. So at this point, that would be that I provide the string, then I call the method concat. That's the concatenation of the string. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, that's correct. And from here, oh, of course, yeah, we need to document. Yeah, so in case you want to do the concatenation, you need to do it this way for the strings, because JavaScript has some really really crazy features. So maybe I will. Okay, maybe let's finish with this example. Then I will show you what crazy features Java has. Basically, when you want to concatenate the string with something else, then you need to use concat function. It's not like in Java when you can just use plus. This will concatenate. In JavaScript, there's concat function for the strings. Comparing to the, if you want to concatenate the, like from the website, that would be the number, let's say, with the string, then you can use the plus. So then you use plus. At this point, that's maybe a little bit crazy, but this is how it works. So I provide flowers free, class free, but JTB, of course. Right now we can see that the full class is provided here, and the flowers appear here. That will just basically concatenate the string, the text here. Also, should I have the error here? Okay, let's quickly check again. I'm not sure why I have the error. Yeah, if you have some JavaScript errors, then you will see them here. I think that was just saved from my previous transactions. If you have some errors, then you will see them there, and also you will see them. The reason why it is. For example, let's make some error here. Let's say, one thing about JavaScript. The main problem for JavaScript is when you type the code, and this is the problem for all the scripting languages, is that at this point you actually don't see what you can and what you can't access. Like in this case, I just know that I can use document, get element by ID, then source. Yeah, I know that such element exists inside this document, but unfortunately you cannot just type the code here and be sure that this is the actual element which exists under this document. Maybe a document may be fine, but at this point you cannot be sure if, let's say, for example, my image is what is it? It can be input, it can be button, it can be basically anything. And let's say that you just type some incorrect code here. I'm incorrect, just something incorrect element. Then I want to assign the value to it. Then let's say that I execute it. And then I just want to type something here. Polish JP. Then I display. Sorry, I forgot to comments. So how I saved it? Yeah, I think I. Or yeah. Oh no! At this point, yeah. One more thing. This will not fail, and this is another crazy thing about scripting codes. Yeah, everything will be fine. You will not have the errors. That's because basically what just happened here. This is what I said last time, and this is what the scripting languages are about. This is a really interesting thing. For scripting languages like JavaScript and PHP, you can actually dynamically create new attributes for the object. So this will be the object. So basically the same way I can do this way. So as I said, how to define the variables? We use var, then I can say my image object, that will be the object, then I can get it from here. Let's say. And basically what I do here, I actually, at this point, I actually create a new attribute under this object and assign the value 3. So this is not the mistake, this is correct. From JavaScript perspective, I just created a new variable and I just assign a new value here. So at this point, everything will be correct because you just create a new variable here, a new attribute. Yes, you create a new attribute and you assign it to the object. So everything is correct. But you may see the errors. So I'll show you how the errors will look like in JavaScript. So let's say that's something dummy. Then let's say I'll try to access to it as the source, and then I just try to assign values. At this point, you will have the error because this will such element does not exist. So basically, this will return you nothing. So maybe I can do it in a larger way just to see it. Okay, I'll wait to show you. Or no, maybe let's show you then. Dummy elements. So I can just basically assign it to this, and then I will put it here. So at this point, let's do the same, and we should have the error now. Yeah, you can see the error. I'm not sure why it's hidden. I just had the filter. I just had the filter. So at this point you have the error, and the error will look like this. It will actually show you what's the issue, and it will also show you, again, some codes may not be accessible from your browser. Maybe some JavaScript codes may be hidden. It depends. But in such simple cases, you may have the link to it. So it shows that I have the error here, and it says that I have a code type error, cannot set property source of null. So basically, what does it mean? It means you can also type on it, you can navigate on it, and then it will show you the place. So this is the place where the error is. So right at this point, it will show you where is the error. And right now, what's the next thing is I want to show you, and this maybe will be helpful, is the debugger. Debugger is available for everyone, and it is available in Chrome. So using debugger, you can actually you have the image which is empty. You can, using the debugger, you can actually check how your JavaScript code looks like, how it works. So at this point, how to trigger it? I go to inspect element, and I need to go to not to the elements. So I cannot do anything here, because here again, as I said, you can see only the code itself without any actions to be done. But to trigger to go and to check your JavaScript code, how it is triggering, you need to go to the sources. And so here I have this function, and right now I can press display, and this will stop here. So stop here, and right now I can do debugging. So I can do the debugging. Debugger works in a similar way it works in Eclipse. You can put the breakpoints just by pressing on the line. If you press on the line, then this will stop. And the best thing to explore here is what you have on the right side, and here you have the actual objects available for you. So I think that may be a really nice experience and really nice thing to know when you start, of course, working in IT. When you just have something in web, then you want to check something out, then that's a really nice feature to do. So basically, what you see here, you have local elements are just the elements you can access from there. And this, of course, is the current instance. Yeah, so right here you can see what do we have right here, and basically, as I said, right here you have all the objects loaded for the current page, and it means that you do not need to reload the page because everything is already loaded here, and you just need to access these elements. So what you can check here, you can actually check everything what is available for you. So as I said, the main thing for us is the document, and the document is stored under the global right here. So it is on the window level, and there are basically lots of things, but currently we just work with the document. With the document, and you can explore it in more detailed way. There are lots of things here, and to be honest, I just not gone through all of them. I just mostly use get element. I also use the forms. These can be really useful, and basically lots of things you can find here. But again, at this point, we mostly work with the elements, and at this point, so I should call the method. I go to the next line. So this means execute the current function. So the current function is this one, get element by ID. And at this point, I have retrieved my image, so I can see it right here. It is defined, it's not null, and I have all the elements defined under this my image. So basically, this is how JavaScript objects look like. You have what do JavaScript objects have? The same as like in Java, they have the functions and they have the attributes. So everything you can see here, this is what this object has. So these are the attributes. On the right side, you can check the values. And if the value can also be the function. Yeah. So at this point I cannot, the functions, there's no functions. Here you can also check under the prototype. The prototype, I can also check the prototype. But regarding the functions, okay, this object does not have any functions. I think it should not have. But for example, when you have the object this, because this is also the object, you can actually see that here we have the elements which are actually the functions. Yeah? If you have this F sign on the right, then it means that this is the function. And basically why I said that this will work, because basically at this point you can see that we have the elements, the attributes under the object. When this line is executed, what basically is done, it just creates a new element. So that would be an incorrect element. They're sorted in alphabetical way. So you should normally be able to find whatever you want this way. One moment. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, that's because it's an uppercase. That's why it's stored on the top. But everything here is normally stored in alphabetical order. So you can see that basically what happened, I just created a new element under this function and assigned the value 3. And at this point, I also basically what I do here, I just get the go to source element and just assigning the value to it. So basically this will just put the corresponding source to the image. Yeah, basically this is about the introduction to JavaScript, and as I promised, let's quickly, I'll just show you. There are basically some crazy things you can find about JavaScript. Let's say crazy things. JavaScript crazy, you can there's also basically there are lots of examples how to concatenate the string and how basically the string concatenation I would say there's the operations. There are basically lots of examples where null is an object, that's true, but basically okay, maybe I'll show you a little bit later. I'll prepare some examples. Okay, so at this point, so we provided the path to the image. But what will happen if the file does not exist? Let's say that we have something like this. So we say display image. Do we have any error? Yes, we have the error, and now we want to check if the file exists or not. I will want to find out at which point the error is triggered. So that would be that we can also handle the exceptions there. For regarding the exceptions, you can the same way use try catch as we use in Java, and this will also handle the exceptions. So yeah, I think we can actually okay, let's try to use try catch. Okay, this one is not needed really for us, so we can do try catch here. Try catch. So how to pass the parameters? In JavaScript, you don't need to, this is what I mentioned once, you don't need to provide the type of the parameters. I think we cannot provide the type of the parameters. We normally just pass them this way and then just use them as is. Actually, I think you can. That's for TypeScript. I used to TypeScript. For JavaScript, we almost always just simply pass the parameters this way, and we don't provide the type for them. So at this point we can trigger the alert that file is not found. File is not found. I mean, it's possible to provide the type, but we don't do it in JavaScript usually. Just do it this way. then we have file is not found. Okay, let's check again. So, okay, let's see. Okay, this didn't work. Yeah, because the issue is triggered after this is created. A moment. Let me quickly. Let me quickly check it, because yeah, okay, maybe let's just at this point skip this in case there are any exceptions, and the exceptions mostly are related to the function calls. And basically this is mostly exception from the moment. Let's maybe quickly try to yeah, I think that's mostly okay. So the file reading may be maybe a little bit complicated at this point, because this is related to some Chrome requests. Exceptions are related to the say issue occurred. Exceptions are mostly related to the errors in the method calls, like something is you access undefined variable. Let's say you want to access no variable. Such things produce you the exceptions at the end. But yeah, okay, maybe at this point that's not so important. And another thing we can do here is to hide the image. So let's say we have flowers here, and let's say that we want to hide this image. So let's create another button here. So that will be display image. This is display image, and then we can do the same for hide image. So for hide we can create another function here. Let's say that will be hide image, and then we can do the following thing. We basically can do the same, but what will I do? I will get the image. So that will be my image, and I can do the following thing. I can press the hidden. I can use the hidden parameter. That's the parameter which basically means that the element is hidden, and I said that this is true. Let's call the function here. That will be display image. I call it from here. Oh, wait, sorry, not display, but hide image first. Hide image. Let's see, hide image. Along the page. So when I press display, I press hide, then the image is hidden. But yeah, at this point we'll have two problems. The first problem is that so we just had the screen is resized, and that's because previously actually the picture was displayed but without the source. So this is what we should handle as well, and we should handle that the picture appears here as well. Appears here back if we provide the path. So what we need to do in this case, we need to provide the information that we say that when we display, then it's not hidden anymore when we display something. And when we hide, then okay, when we hide, that's fine. And before we display, so just to not have this frame we have here, we can type that this is hidden. So this is not the button, but the image, of course. That the image is hidden by default. It's hidden by default, and at this point it will be hidden. So I provide the powers free. Check again. I display image. I hide image. Then I display. Hide. I say display me different image. So this will display me different. Again hide. Again display, and so yeah, so that's the example about the JavaScript. And at this point, as I promised, we will maybe change the schedule a little bit. Maybe we can move individual tasks to the current point, so that will be time for you to also try it by yourself during the lesson. That's maybe quite useful for us. I think so. The individual task, I will give you an hour, so that will be until 8:30, and the task for you is to do the following thing. So let me open it, and I'll basically show you what I expect. From you. So let me open the. No, I think. Oh, okay, I think it's already open. Yeah. So I expect from you that you have 4 buttons, and so the screen is divided into two sections, just somewhere in the middle. The first section where there are the buttons, then you have the second section where is basically at this point nothing, so that's just an example. And then when you press on the button, then the picture should appear here, the corresponding picture. So that would be if you press on show the beer, then the picture of the beer should appear. Then when you press on the dog, then the picture on the dog should appear. Then when you press on the horse, then the picture of the horse should appear here. And when you press on dolphin, then dolphin, and so on. Okay. So basically this is the task for you. So please start doing it. I will be available here during the whole hour. So if you finish earlier, then we will continue earlier. If not, then I will then just just show you how it works. Again, you can ask all the questions to me. I will be here. So you can contact me. You can briefly contact me. I'll be here, and yeah. So please let me know if you have any answers then, or any questions, then I will answer them. But now please try to implement this, and then we will go through it together. And check the solution. So you're welcome to start doing it. Okay. Yeah, maybe I will also type it in Discord chat, so if someone is not with us right now, then just to let her know that we are doing this task now. yeah, one more point. So you may want to also pass the parameters to the function. So it can also be done. Let's say, yeah, to pass the parameters, to pass the text, as I mentioned, please use not the double quotation marks, but the single quotation marks. And so that can be, let's say, element 1, and so this will be not element 1, but just, I can actually pass it right here. So that should be fine. So that would be element, and I would say element name. Yeah, so this text will be passed to this parameter. And right here I can, instead of just hard coding here, I can just pass the element name. So it basically will come from here. So this is the parameter. Then this will be this one. Then it will actually be here, and it should work the same way. And that's in case you want to pass the parameters. And so this will work the same way. All right. Okay, I hope you are doing well, and so I already seen there are some results from you. So has anyone finished, or is there anyone who has not finished yet? Let me know if you need a little bit more time than then we can wait a bit. So do we need more time? Please let me know. Okay, yeah, then we will go through together. So anyone else? Okay, the picture still not appears for Olga. Oh, yeah, maybe the question talk. Do you have this file actually, or can you show also the inspect element? I mean the inspect element for corresponding for the image. Okay, in case you don't have the file, you can actually check the inspect element. So that would be this one, and just check if the source is correct, or do you have this file in this particular folder with this path. Okay, then maybe let's do it together, and hopefully it helps. So first of all, we start with the files. So we should have all these files inside the folder. So I will then go to the folder, and then we'll just put the files there. So let's go to the code examples. We have our source HTML. I think we can use the same folder. Basically, use just the same place where I write the code. And let me paste the files, the pictures. 2 minutes. Okay, I think I have them. Oh no, sorry. Let me even quickly open them. So let me check the file. Okay, that's under. That's under presentation. So okay. Sorry, a moment. It's under the presentation. Yeah, it's here. So I will open them. I'll just paste the files here. So I have the files for beer, dog, dolphin, and horse. All of them are JPEGs. Okay, it's fine. So let's create a new file here. So I will create a new file. That would be animals.html. The beginning should be the same. I'll just copy paste what we already have. I will not use the style sheets because we won't have them at this point. And then let's go to the body, and then we should close body. So that will be just an example. Then I will place heading. So that will be a test example too. So that's one thing. The thing I ask you to do is to split the screen into 2 parts. Actually, there are 2 ways how to do it. Not two ways, but lots of ways how we can do it. We normally use Bootstrap. I will show you later how can we use Bootstrap in this case. It basically means CSS, how we can manage it using CSS, but so since we haven't gone through the Bootstrap features yet, then first I will do it using the table. I showed you once, I think it was last week, and then we can repeat the same using Bootstrap. So then let's yeah, let's then proceed. So I will use the table to control the screen. So then I will have just one row. So that will be tr, and then that would be td. So that will be the first column, and that will be the second column. So basically I will control the screen in the way that we have just one table, one row, and two columns. So okay, might be this way. And the first step is to define the buttons. Define the buttons. So that will be on first column. So here we'll have three buttons. So the first button show here. Then that will be the second button. Yeah, we better split it into split by text. This will be a better approach. Or maybe for the button we can just place everything on the same line. Then we have show the dog. Then this would be show the dolphin, and show the horse. So at this point we have buttons. The buttons should appear on the screen. Yeah, so by this point this will look this way. Let's yeah, here. That's the animals. This will just look that everything is on the same line. Nothing is centered. So first of all we need to add the line breaks. I can do it. We can actually create several rows, but in this case let's just put everything into the same column. So this will now go this way, but as you can see everything is aligned on the left, but we want to put it into the center. So to put it in the center we can actually put the aligning content center under the body. So it means that this rule will be applied for all the elements which are located under it, so inside the body. So then everything should be, yeah, everything is centered, but again everything is still aligned on the left, and that's because the size is not defined. So we can also define the width and the width to be 100%. So this means that the content should be placed on the wall screen. Check. Okay, I think without Bootstrap that may be a little bit complicated. Moments. Oh no, the table is placed on the wall screen, and Okay, then let's do let's put all the elements here. Yeah, because again, I will later show you how can we normal align, or maybe at this point we can skip the aligning, and I will show you that we do it using the bootstrap, that is much more easier to do. Okay, one. Yeah, okay, then we will do the aligning using bootstrap. I'll show you how can we do it. At this point, so we have the second column, and this would be the image. And the same as we just done, I can define the image. That would be the animal, and then we can apply the logic. So first of all, I will create the script file. This will actually show me the right animal. And as I mentioned, we can use the parameter for the function. So it means that we will find a function, will be show animal, we provide the element path to the element. It will be not just file name, it will be file name. So we have the function here, and so then we can define the variables, or we can just do anything, do everything in one line. So the element ID, that would be animal. Then the source, and so again I use files. Then I say concatenate, and I concatenate file name. And right now we can use some quick event and provide the corresponding file name. So for the beer, that would be, of course, need to first call the function show animal. Then we can use the single quotation mark, and that would be the beer. .jpg. So okay, so oh yeah, of course, sorry. You can put semicolon, can skip semicolon. Semicolon is needed when you have several functions to call. Like you may also have not one function to be called, but let's say two functions or even more. Then in this case you can separate them using semicolon, and then just call another function, let's say something like this. Yeah. So just using the semicolons, you can separate multiple operations, and then you can simply call them this way. So I'll do the same for the other buttons. So we have beer, we have dog, and then we have the dolphin, and then we have the horse. And so let's say, what do we have now? Okay, something with the path is wrong. Let's go to the inspect element. Let's check what's wrong. Yeah, I forgot the slash here. Forgot the slash. So let's check now. Let's check now. Yeah, now you can see that the picture appears, but again, as I said previously, we need to change the size, of course. So then to change the size, let's again define the style. You can define the style here. Change the style, change the size of the picture. So that would be the image. And then we apply the width. Let's say that would be 40 amps, and For height, that would be 40 grams as well. So this is like this, and yeah, actually, I think we better use the. There's one more option I can suggest for the column is to add the style. Then that would be width, and that would be 50%, and then we can define the style 50% here as well. So let's check if this helps. Okay, yeah, that actually helped. I can see that now the screen is divided in two. So now the screen is divided in two. We have two rows, one row here and another row here. Before the table, let's quickly check for the table. Yeah, as I said, we can play around here with the styles, with the different styles, and then assign the elements. Let's maybe try to assign 100% for the table. Does it look better? It seems better. Yeah, it seems that now we have. Okay, and now it seems that the table is 100%. Okay, then maybe we can skip the style and just put it under the table. Yeah, but because for the table this may interesting thing for the table, and we can also check it here. So for the table we have some generic settings which will actually which can actually produce some incorrect display here. When the logic works, you can see that everything is displayed, and on content center. About the content aligning, this didn't work, and in this case, maybe let's do the following way. Let's then just define the separate styles for the rows. So for the not for the rows, but for the columns. Yeah, because some features for the tables do not really work in HTML. Let's maybe define the class of CSS. Be say my column, and then I can move the style there. So that will be my column. Okay. My column. And then I define the same class here. So using the class, we can actually apply the rules from CSS to the corresponding section. So the width is 50%. Then align content to be center. For the columns, let's see if this helps. No. It's okay, yeah. Yeah, for tables it's quite tricky, then maybe let's get it back. For tables you may see some restrictions in styling, so it may not be so stable for them. For the tables, that's why let's just keep the width this way, and then the content regarding the content, we can still try to play around here. I will show you how we can do it using the Bootstrap. This may okay, align content. It's not really helpful for this. For tables, that's maybe quite tricky, I would say. Okay, then I will show you then how we can do it using Bootstrap. At this point, we can just keep it as is. And yeah, also the width of the table to be 100%, and then we can actually keep it as is at this point, and then I will show you how can we improve. We can significantly improve such things using the Bootstrap. Using the Bootstrap elements. Okay, now we split the content in two sections. Okay, so at this point, this is how you could do it. You could also just create, let's say, 4 pictures, then hide. So by clicking on the button, you just keep one picture and hide all the other buttons. This will also be a fine solution. And just by hiding the elements. There are different ways how to do it. But at this point, this solution seems to be most like you have just one function, and then you just reuse the same function several different for different buttons. All right. So, do you have any questions about this one? Okay, if not, then I will quickly show you what the Bootstrap is. So, as I just said, we want to use the stylings to make our content better. Like in this case, you can see what I just done and what I can do with we have here. You can see that this looks, the buttons here, the aligning looks better here, and this is because here I use Bootstrap. Here I use the Bootstrap, and what okay, will you typing something? Any questions? Okay, we will starting. Any questions? You're always welcome to ask them. Okay. I will wait in case any questions. You can briefly type them, then I will answer them. So here you can see that the buttons look better, and the fonts may be a little bit better as well, and all these things. This is done because of Bootstrap. So basically, what the Bootstrap is actually, so you can the main place where you can check all the things about Bootstrap is the website of the Bootstrap. Basically, what is it? Bootstrap is the set of not the set, but the files, the content of basically the files of the styles. All the styles. Really, sure. That's just for the really. That's not for the mark for the points. That's we have just some stuff to do during the lesson, and then we can do it you can do it yourself, then we can do it together, and you can also check. So this is just the individual work. Yeah, actually I checked your feedbacks. Thank you for those who send the feedbacks. If someone has not done it yet, then also do it. I read them, and I always try to improve something based on them. And yeah, this was actually feedback that's maybe better if we do some things together during the lesson, and then if something is not clear, then always can ask the questions. I can help you, and then we can basically can do it together during the lesson. So yeah, if you have any more suggestions, you can briefly propose them. Okay, that's about it. And yeah, basically let's start with Bootstrap. Basically, the Bootstrap is the these are the files. These are the files which store CSS content, and also they store JavaScript content, which actually help us to work with them, to construct better pages. Yeah, Alexandra, that's good. To construct better pages with better elements, with better design, more stable work, and the key point is here to just basically not write the same JavaScript code for several times. JavaScript and also CSS code, because everything is designed in the common way, so everyone can use it, and everyone can reuse it. So basically, how to work with Bootstrap? Actually, you have different ways. There's npm, so that's for JavaScript. If you have npm installed, you can use it. The easiest way would be just if you download it. You can just use compiled CSS and JavaScript files. So then you will get JavaScript and CSS files then. This is one option. Another option would be if you just there is I think there is one template page. So you can Bootstrap get started. Then you go to introduction, and here you will see the starter page. So under the starter page, you will actually see the links to the JavaScript codes and also to the CSS codes right here, style sheet. Basically, as I said, when you put the link to the source, so this will actually include everything into your, not include, but everything from this source will be available to your HTML page. If it's JavaScript, if it's JS code, then this will give you all the functions located and all the functionality located under this JavaScript file. Same about this one. And regarding the scripts, then not scripts but the styles, then you will be able to access to all the CSS, to all the styles located under CSS, this CSS class. So basically, you can use your internal files and just put the link to them. You can also, like in this case, use the link to the file which is located right here by this link. So this is publicly available file. So it means that you can just simply put it under in your code, and then you will think you can also open it. Yeah, you can also open it. It looks like this. Of course, in theory, what you can do, so you can copy it here, then you can go to Visual Studio, for example. Then you can open a new file. Yes, we can create a new file if you want. Copy paste did not work for a moment. So maybe let's maybe create a file. That will be better because it does not understand the extension. So no, I'm not under the files, but under the examples. Could be let's say test CSS. Yeah, the extension should be correct. And here we can. Okay, I do not have formatted for GSS files, so it suggests me to install them. So I just install formatting for CSS files. So that's Alt-Shift-F, and I actually have now all the CSS content here, which basically will be available for you once you once you add the link to this CSS source. So it basically just gets the content from here. But I suggest, and from my experience, more stable solution would be if you just download the files, because that's more stable. So you're not dependent on your maybe internet connection. Normally should be fine for everyone nowadays, but maybe something is wrong with the path, with the file, or something like that. Better to use the local file, but again, it's up to you. And yeah, also really important to use the right versions, because there are the differences between the versions. So at this point, to be honest, I previously downloaded, so maybe I will just simply share the bootstrap files I have, and then so just to align the versions, we can use the same. I will just so a moment, that was under the presentation. I will yeah, so I have the 4th version, so then maybe I will just simply, you can find it on the internet as well, but I will just simply zip my folder. Oh no, I would better just simply I can just simply put these CSS. Yeah, I'll just provide you the CSS files. So basically, there are JavaScript files and there are CSS files. So I will just share the version I have. I think you can also just use the version that you can download here. Just yeah, under this folder. Yeah, I think. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't use this beta version. That's why I will use this Bootstrap 4. But I think if you use these folders, then we will not have any differences with what I will currently do. Maybe just for me, maybe let's use these. So this is beta version, but I hope that nothing will crash. So I will then use this folder download from Bootstrap. So then I will put the link to you. So you can navigate here. And let's proceed. Let's now proceed. I will do some changes with what was previously done. So that's this one. We go to code examples, to source, and to HTML, and yeah, okay, this was our example, and right now I will put these folders here. Maybe I will not use JavaScript at this point. I will use the web version for JavaScript, because we will not really use it at this point. Maybe even more, I'll just not use JavaScript. Okay, so now we have this folder here, and what we actually can do, we can first we need to put the link to this file, so it means that we will include this this file into our code. So to include CSS, we need to use relation, rel, and the relation is style sheet. Then we need to provide the reference, and the reference would be the main file we use is bootstrap min. Actually, there are two bootstraps. There is bootstrap min and bootstrap simple. The key difference is that bootstrap min is just minified file, which basically has less. It normally should have less unneeded elements, which basically we can restrict. And when it is loaded, it should normally take less time for loading. That's minified file, it's called. So basically, just everything which is not really needed for the loading is removed from this. So we'll use it. So that's bootstrap and bootstrap CSS, and we can close the tag. So at this point, okay, let's select the default formatter. No, we can use the same one. Okay. Yeah. So this is done, and right now we can proceed. So under CSS, we mostly put everything. Okay, maybe at this point we will maybe see some change. We will maybe already see some changes. Let's check. Yeah. Okay. I think we already have the changes. Yeah. First of all, the content is aligned in different ways. So I just linked the HTML file to this bootstrap CSS, and we can see that already the font is changed, and yeah, basically the fonts are changed, and alignments are changed as well here as well. That's because here we have this t-body, tb, which come from CSS. Basically, that's not CSS, that's SCSS, and you can see that here we have some styles loaded from CSS, which actually make our file, make our page a little bit better. What we usually do here in CSS, how our CSS, not CSS, but how our HTMLs usually look with CSS. So first of all, we try to put everything, not everything, but most of the thing in container. So that's for this purpose. I will start with the container. So that will be division. And yeah, so since this is CSS, we work with the classes. You can actually, mostly how we know what class to use, we Google or check other examples and get the right class. But yeah, normally we start with container. So that will be the main element. And this just to be put under the alongside with with the wall body here. At this point we should not we'll just have this this break from the left. There's some spaces from the left. So at this point it looks a little bit better, and that's because we have containers, so it has all the right spaces needed, all the paddings, borders, and so on. So this is done. We can also put the alignment here as the style in addition to what we already have. So I'll move it right here. We use divisions, of course. That's why divisions, as I said, maybe are the most popular tags in HTML. That's because that's the way we can use the bootstrap. Alright, so this is done. This is done, and now we can move on with the other things. So as I said, we will not use the table here. We will not use the table. We will use the bootstrap. And basically, for the bootstrap, what do we have? There is such interesting thing how we can split the screen. And in bootstrap, the screen is actually split into 12 parts. So basically, let's say bootstrap call SM. It's called the class this grid system, and it has 12 elements there. Number of columns. We have 12 columns. One moment. What does it mean? It means that we can split the screen into 12 parts. So that would be, what does it mean? It means that if I want to split the screen, this is what I wanted to do here. So I don't use the table. So the table goes out from here. Oh no, the image does not go out of here. Then we keep image with all the other things to be done. And instead of this, we use the following thing. I provide the CSS class and I use the call SM and 6. Right, so then we put it here. So what does it mean? It means that the content here will take the half of the screen. Why the half? Because we have 12 parts. So if I put maybe we will play around here, I will show you. And right here we will do the same. We also put it to the other side of the screen. So let's then open it. Open it. Okay, what have I missed here? Okay, yeah, let's maybe also add the let's also add the standard CSS. Maybe this will, okay, normal we should not comment. Let's maybe related to the version of href, and let's maybe use the standard CSS without the minification. I think that's it should be fine as well. So yeah, okay, that was not the reason, but one moment, let's check why the screen is not split into the two parts. Oh, of course, I forgot to I forgot to use the row, but no, the row should not be used here. So we have the container here. Yes, that's correct. So we have the container. Make the alignment to center. So here we have the style. That's correct. So here we put the link. That should also be correct. Okay. Okay. Maybe let's not. Yeah. Maybe let's not use the R's. That's one. That's one thing. Yeah. Okay. We should not normally use it there. But what we do, we may better use the rows. Yeah, so we can also use the rows, so it means that this particular element will be considered as one row. It's one row. Class row. Okay. So this is the way how we can split different rows. Also, if you just want to keep the content without line breaks, then we can also use the row. So it basically means that everything what is located here inside this division, this will just be placed on the same row. And so this is what we have here. Oh, sorry, not the line content, but text align center. I'm sorry. There's text align, of course. Text align center. Yeah, I was a little bit confused here. Why? Yeah, text align, not content align. Okay, so this one looks better. This one looks better, but still the picture is not on the right side. And it's not on the right side. Yeah, so basically here we find that the content to be split into two parts. So in this case we can actually see that this takes the half of the screen. So that's basically correct. Let's as I said before the picture is loaded, maybe let's make it hidden. Let's make it hidden first, because otherwise it already appears there. So basically, what does it mean? It means that I will make this element not hidden, and so for the image, maybe let's make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, let's make it a little bit bigger, and let's see. Yeah, okay, at least now we don't see it, but for the buttons, okay, we will correct this thing, but first we relate it to the buttons. Maybe this way to use the buttons is not really correct. Why? Because we should normally provide the class name for the button, and for CSS there are lots of different types of the buttons we can use. Actually, we can go to, we can check it on the Bootstrap. Set Bootstrap, yeah, button Bootstrap. There are lots of buttons we can use under the Bootstrap. So there are primary, success button, white button. Maybe let's use maybe just white button. So I can copy this one, and I can paste it classes. now we should have better buttons. Okay, buttons look better, but yeah, you can see that we have better buttons, but I'm still not sure why the elements are located not on the right position, because yeah, here we have the half of the screen, so this should look correct. It should be correct. Wait, so yeah. Yeah, so I just have the same code I just written before this session, and this is what I have there. I mean, everything was fine there. So this is what I have, but basically this is the same code. Okay, maybe the buttons are different. You can actually, yeah, we can also do the page. Check the page source. Yeah, you can actually see that for the basically the buttons are smaller. So okay, why the buttons are smaller here? That's maybe also the right question. Moment. I have different class for the button, but for this default button, this will not really affect it here. See the button, that's not the issue. The issue is that the sizing is not really correct here. Sizing for the buttons. For the button, we can see that. So maybe let me quickly try to then change the Bootstrap files I used here and take the previous version. I don't think that won't change much. Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah, that's because of newer version of Bootstrap. Yeah, so now everything is correct, because I used the previous version of Bootstrap, and this is a little bit different. So yeah, basically I used the fourth version. I just, this is what I shared with you on the files right now. CSS it. So yeah, here I just changed to the Bootstrap 4 version. Bootstrap 4 version and and here everything is fine. The same as here. Yeah. So that's related to the Bootstrap version. This was beta version, so I don't suggest to use it. So you can use the previous version, and this looks better. So I can use the different class for the buttons. Basically, yeah, there are lots of things we can do using Bootstrap. So then maybe we'll start with Bootstrap features next session. So we will check what we can actually achieve using Bootstrap. But yeah, this was the introduction. Basically, these are the classes, CSS classes, which help you to control your page using CSS classes. We will check more examples during the next session on Friday then. Alright, so as usual, if you have any questions, you can always contact me. So I think for today we can finish then. Thank you for your work today, and this will enjoy your work. and then meet you all on Friday.